Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome back to another episode of the Fierce Factor podcast. It's your host, Kaylee here, and you are tuning in to episode number 197. This week, we are continuing with part 3 of our thought leadership series to really unearth some clarity around our innate desire to make an impact in the world. Over the past 2 weeks, we've been discussing my perspective around the need for a stronger foundation for thought leaders in our space, the expanding pool of brilliant, competent, and capable female leaders who desire to strengthen their ability to inspire and lead others, and our commitment as a company to uplifting the voices of women who long to, and quite frankly, should be heard. Last week, we discussed several tactics for becoming a more dynamic communicator. And today we're going to get a little more introspective because I truly believe we all have a purpose here that transcends a revenue goal, putting a sign on a building, or even publishing our name in a textbook. Every single one of us has a thought leader inside of us whose intrinsic purpose just needs to be awakened. Do you agree? Some people believe if you can think it, it's meant for you. You just have to open yourself up to receive it. As a matter of fact, I recently heard an interview clip between Oprah and Jamie Kern-Lima. Oprah was sharing her perspective on finding her purpose. She said something to the effect of, I just prayed to God and asked him to use me to architect the plan, and I'll follow the process. What I love about this is her underlying knowing that she was meant for greatness. It was like a little voice that kept nagging at her like a toothache that wouldn't go away. Because here's the thing, I found that the most successful people I've worked with have one thing in common. They have a strong desire for something more. And when I think about that, when I really think about what that means, it tells me that there is a thought leader living inside of every single one of us. We just have to insource the courage to let her out. What kind of thought leader do you aspire to be? I asked myself this question a lot as I was cultivating the vision and designing the programming for this next stage of growth for KLC. Why do I want to be a thought leader? This was an important question for me to answer because putting myself out there, well, let's just say it's not super comfortable. I needed to anchor to a bigger why in order to remind myself that it's worth it to fight for my highest potential. If we aren't clear of what motivates us to seek presence on a bigger scale, we will either give up en route or end up running fast toward a place we don't want to end up after all. In the long run, we only hit what we aim at. So when I asked myself this question, my answer about my desire to become a thought leader was that I want to show myself and others what's possible. I want to be a beacon of influence for women like me who see a gap in the world and want to reframe their frustration into meaningful change. I want to celebrate and stimulate provocative thinking, and I want to influence emotion to motivate action. As Krista mentioned last week, one undeniable truth is that being an impactful communicator will ripple from your professional life to your personal life because it's a skill that allows you to effectively get what you want and to better connect with others in your life, to really understand other people in a better, more meaningful way. I want to access my fullest potential. And listen, having big dreams isn't unique to me. It's one of the reasons women come to work with me. So often women who have high growth mindsets find themselves with ideas about themselves, about their ambitions and their potential that many times they haven't even ever told anybody else because they're accessing a vision that is so sometimes out there that it almost sounds crazy to say out loud, but it doesn't sound crazy to me. I talk with women on a routine basis who will share with me their big, audacious goal. They'll get fired up and be all in. They're energized, just simply by the possibility of making that vision a reality. And then 2 weeks later, they'll have already stepped right back into their own head and managed to talk themselves out of what was so powerful for them at the moment. I call this quiet quitting on a dream, because to become a thought leader, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself a critical question. Are you really doing what it takes to access your fullest potential? Have you given yourself permission to step out of your comfort zone and onto the stage of influence? Perhaps you haven't really thought long and hard enough about your why. Is it to credential yourself to stimulate more brand awareness? Is it to teach, train, and mentor? Is it to leave the industry and next generation behind you better off than it was before you came? Is your thought leader goal fame, status, or recognition? Is your goal to monetize your expertise through a proprietary methodology? Do you seek to gain notoriety for an asset you've already developed? Or do you want to make an impact in the world that will leave it better off because of you? We really need to be honest about what we're bringing to the table as thought leaders, and we need to identify our own gaps in achieving those goals. Are we investing in the right areas to cultivate our visionary voice of impact? And what does that even look like? The bottom line is you have a voice and a story that's unlike anyone else. So if you're too introverted or too nervous or too tongue-tied to develop and deliver a message that inspires or educates an audience, it's time for a major mindset shift. You've overcome every challenge business ownership has thrown your way thus far. So while becoming a magnetic communicator requires diligence, you clearly do have what it takes. You just need the framework, the personalized coaching, and the willingness to practice and refine your craft until your confidence overrides your fear. And you didn't break glass ceiling after glass ceiling to hide behind self-doubt. Like I said, this is why hundreds of women every year come to work with me and our team at KLC to convert that subtle voice inside their head into life-changing confidence, to unleash their higher purpose and higher self. A client recently shared something with me during a very vulnerable moment, and she said, I often look at women on social media and I think, wow, look how many people admire her. And I'll bet if she had said that comment to anyone else, especially in the state she was in, they'd probably comfort her. They would tell her, no, so many people admire you. They'd tell her how great she was and how great her own life is. But that wasn't my response. I questioned the thought altogether. Why is it so important to be admired? Is that even the goal? Because when I look at the missions of our clients and women like you, possibly, they can't afford the distraction of trying to be admired. They have to measure their success by their own value system, or their mission will just be a dream or a slogan on their website, not a realized destination. Being admired feels good, it's validating, it's a hit of dopamine, but being a leader requires reworking of the hardwire. It requires an identity shift. And I've yet to meet a human being of true impact that doesn't know this truth intimately. I've never really met a high-growth individual who doesn't crave learning how to uncover their next level as a human being, be it wealth, health, spirituality, relationships, the list goes on. If you're not where you want to be in life, the only person who can change that is you. It's time to play your own game, goddess. All you have to do is make one empowered decision. And listen, I'm going to make it very easy for you because I'm hosting a 3-day boot camp the last 3 days of January that will leave you ready to expand to a new level of visibility. Join me to unlock your it factor. If you're ready to create a secondary income stream through speaking engagements, you want to master communication so you can better train your growing team or your own training academy. Maybe you're ready to master visibility on social media, or you desire to expand your reach as an industry KOL, trainer, or speaker. Or maybe you're an emerging leader within your organization who's responsible for driving a vision through others. Then you don't want to miss the opportunity to master the art of communication and thought leadership so you can share your experience and knowledge with an authentic and dynamic presence that transcends. In this program, you'll learn our proprietary ACE method to cultivate confidence, master storytelling skills, and leverage adaptability for various settings and audiences. The program starts on January 29th. Again, it's 3 days. the 29th, 30th, and 31st from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific. So it will be 1 hour each. In this program, you'll learn our proprietary ACE method to cultivate confidence, master storytelling skills, and leverage your adaptability for various settings and different kinds of audiences. The program's going to be 3 days, again, January 29th, 30th, and 31st from 9 a.m. Pacific to 10 a.m. Pacific or 12 Eastern to 1 Eastern. 1 hour each day. This is going to be 3 days of immersion training for you. That includes coaching, access to the community, a storytelling guide, and an on-camera confidence rubric and checklist. And we will have replays available for registrants. So don't worry if you can't attend live, we will have you covered. But if you do, we have a special gift for you as well. Okay, leader, I can't tell you how incredibly excited I am for this highly requested bootcamp. If you're even thinking about the idea of wanting to speak on a big stage, or even just improving your ability to motivate and inspire your team this year, be sure to head to klcconsultants.com/it factor and get yourself into this program. Stop quiet quitting on your potential and unlock your it factor. I can't wait to see you there. Listen, leader, if you're vibing with me here, hang tight because I have a brand new resource for you. You are a successful, confident, powerful woman who just isn't into being average. No, you have a calling, and part of that calling is requiring you to level up. And I know that if you're working across the next $1 million milestone in your business, you need to be in the right circles. And perhaps that's why you found us. I'd love to invite you to join The Blueprint, a weekly resource for inspired, provocative thinkers who are taking this conversation to the next level. Get access to free business tools, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me and my expert team. And of course, a masterfully curated circle of women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetics and wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to klcconsultants.com/blueprint. It's time to elevate. See you there, goddess.